Shalom, Israel. My name is Officer Kayad, one out of I.S.U.P.K, Jamaica. I.S.U.P.K started 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I.S.U.P.K is run by Commanding General Yahanna, the one man with the rank and the authority to lead Israel at this time. I say, Yahweh Basham Yahweh Barakatam to my brothers. Yahweh Shamar Ailatan Basham Yahweh to my sisters. All right, so we're going to talk about the incident with the young man whose son was, brutally abused by his stepfather, you understand, while in his mother's care, you understand. So we're going to break down some scripture. We are going at the article. Let me just jump to the article right now. We are going at the article itself. We're going to read a portion to it, you know what I mean? The article is an Observer article, where you can go view for yourself, you understand, and get the full story, but I will just read part of the article and then we're going to jump into some scripture. So this is what the article said. Beware of spouses with your children, warned father of 3-year-old allegedly beaten by stepfather. Dewayne Cameron is urging parents to be wary of the people they bring into the lives of their children. The 29-year-old dancer / choreographer offered the advice after learning that his 3-year-old son, Jamarie, was badly beaten, allegedly by his stepfather. In an interview with The Observer on Tuesday, Cameron said he learned of the alleged abuse over the weekend when his son's mother called him crying that the child's face was badly bruised. Cameron said he was on a video shoot at the time and could no longer focus after receiving the horrific news. It was Saturday evening at about 4 p.m. when I got the call from her. She was crying and I asked what was wrong and she said his face was bleeding, he recalled. She said her boyfriend laid hands on my baby and that his face was messed up. All right, and you can read the rest of the article over at the Observer. Is in observer.com, you understand, and get the full story. But for time's sake, we're going to say, all right, this is the reason why we in the I.S.U.P.K, we implore, you know what I mean, our people, you know what I mean, to keep their marriages, to fight and keep their marriages together. And some people might say, well, it wasn't a marriage, it was just our boyfriend at the time until she moved on to her next man. But sex is marriage, right? And anytime that marriage break up, the woman, she go to her next man, that is adultery, right? And if it is the man that leave the woman, he forced her to commit adultery. That's what I say, and that is a sin. You understand? That is a crime against the laws of the Most High. And the disadvantages of that now is, you know what I mean, we run the risk of putting the children in danger. Because in most cases, the child ends up with the mother, right? And the mother ends up having a new boyfriend or a new husband, which don't have no connection or no real connection to the child because he's not the child's father. You get what I say? And things like this can happen. You understand? As a result, things like this can happen where the child can get abused and the mother can't defend it really when you check it. Because, you know what I mean, the man and the woman, you know what I mean, you know the thing already, the man above the woman. She don't have the strength because she's a woman. If you defend situation like this, what she have to do now, she have to end up call the father. Which if she did stay with the father to begin with, you understand? This would have never happened because he would have never do this to him youth. And if any danger come to him youth, he would have defend it with him life. And him have the strength to defend it with him life. You get what I say? So that's why we implore our Black Hispanics and Native Indian people to don't just, you know what I mean, easily, or, you know what I mean, except for adultery or fornication, separate. Because at the end of the day, the child or the children are going to get the worst out of the situation. You know what I mean? Other situations are molestation, which we know are rampant right now in Jamaica. Child molestation, right? So we don't want them things happen to the children. So guess what we have to do? We have to make the marriages work. All right, so what we're going to do now is jump into a scripture. And this is, we're going to jump to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 36. Salakia, verse 56. And this is what it says. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her feet, Salakia, the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband. And that is what happened when, you know what I mean, we don't know what the situation, whether this man leave the woman, Zane, or the woman leave. But if it was the woman that left, which is the scenario in many cases in Jamaica, Zane, this is because her eye become evil against her husband. You understand? Continue reading. Of her bosom and towards her son. And why we say towards, why the scripture say towards her son, how this relates to this, to say towards her son, is because she end up put her child in danger whenever she do that. When she leave the father of her child, she put her child in danger. You understand? And towards her daughter, right? All right. Watch this now. This is verse 54. We jump 2 verses up. And it says, so that the man, and this, all right, this was the curses that would follow the children of Israel. Let me just give that, you know what I mean, breakdown first. So this would happen to us because we break the Most High law, statutes, and commandments, right? And this is 54, Deuteronomy 28 and 54. And this is what it says. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. And that goes to the stepfather now. And why he did this to this little young youth, we could have been his son. So because our eyes have become so evil towards our brother, and not only the young man, but also the father of the young man, because him, you know what I mean, he didn't see the father of this child as his brother. That's why he was able to, you know what I mean, deal with the little youth them way. You understand? Continue reading. And towards the wife of his bosom and towards the remnant of his children. So, you know what I mean? And it goes for the father too. Because, you know what I mean, if you were the one that left this woman, you know what I mean, then this proves that you were evil towards the wife of your bosom. You understand? And putting your child at risk because you know society go already. When you and your wife separate, society are going to give the child to the wife. And the wife can't really give the child the protection that you could give. So you end up put the child in great risk. You understand? And this is due to the fact that there is no love amongst us. There is no love among Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians that we can just, you know what I mean, try to rectify situations within a marriage, within a relationship, for the sake at least for the children. You know what I mean? And if we acknowledge the law, statutes, and commandments like that we teach in the I.S.U.P.K, see, if you acknowledge the law, statutes, and commandment, you would do it for the sake of the law, knowing that if you left your husband, you commit adultery. You understand? And if you left your wife, you force her to commit adultery, which one time was a death penalty due to how the Most High take this thing as serious, because him know, say, all right, when mother and father, when family break up, the children become destroyed. And that is what the Most High was trying to prevent. You understand? All right. So that's why we are telling us, say, yo, you need to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand me? Yeah, man. And you won't get caught. And this goes to our mothers, our young ladies who are mothers. You know what I mean? And our women in general. See? You won't get caught with a man that eats your children simply because he's not the father. That is the risk where you're running up. Go in a relationship and the man despise your children because he knows you're not feeding you them. You understand? That happen in enough cases. You understand? Or a man come look for your little daughter grow up. You understand? And molest her. Or molest your little son. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? You have to stay with the father in order to prevent these things from happening. You get to me, I say? Yeah, man. All right, watch this too. In the Lion Kingdom, you know, and we don't say, we don't justify this happening within the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. We now say it's natural because this is because of the curses. And this goes to show you that we are behaving like animals. See? Watch this. In the lion kingdom, you know, see? When a lion take over a new pride, you know, what him do, you know, is him kill the cub of the lion that him defeat to take the pride. You understand? And this is similar to that. You get to me, I say? So you can't expect, say, yo, boy, when you put a new father over the youth, him go deal with the youth like, you can't replace the father. That would basically I try to tell you. You cannot replace the father of the child. Because many of our sisters think that, oh, all right, we can just get him a new father. There's no such thing because the stepfather is not the father. And the same love where the father would have give the youth, the stepfather now go give him the love there. Or give her the love there. Or give them that protection. Or that, you know what I mean, that sense of entitlement and responsibility. Them now go do that. Because feed them you that. You understand? But even the animal kingdom tell you like what I just explained to you. The lion them, when them come in a new pride, them kill the cubs. So, you know what I mean? That is just an example for sure. You say you can't expect say your stepfather go show the same love to your you like the father. So we implore you to stay together. You see? All right, the next scripture I'm going to jump to is 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and 1. And this is what it says. We are start at verse 1. See? Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. You know what I mean? And this is Paul speaking, right? Verse 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinance as I delivered them to you. The ordinances are the law, statutes, and commandments. And that is why we implore our people. That's why, you know what I mean, we push the law, statutes, and commandments so much, because that is the only thing that is going to get us out of the condition that we are in as Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian. That is the only thing that can get us out of this hell that we are in, where, you know what I mean, our children have to be abused like this, where society, you know what I mean, just have us, you know what I mean, so destroyed. You know what I mean? We are so destroyed and there's no love among us because we don't keep these ordinances, these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Yeah, that is why we in the I.S.U.P.K, we teach these laws and we live them. You get me? Yeah, man. All right. We're going to jump to the book of Mark. See? Mark chapter 12. Slack, yeah. The book of Mark chapter 12 and verse 31. See? And this is what it says. And the second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. All right, so Christ was explaining to somebody who asked him what is the greatest commandments. And he was explaining him that, you know what I mean, love your neighbor as yourself. And this goes to everybody in play right here. You know what I mean, to the father, to the mother, and to the stepfather. Mainly to the stepfather, because as he loved his neighbor, which is the father of this youth, as he loved himself, this youth here, this little youth here, would come in like his son. And me know him would do this to him own youth. You understand? So that is a lack of brotherhood right there. You wouldn't want nobody do that to your son. So why would you do that to somebody else's son? You get what me I say? And to the father, you know what I mean? If you love, you know what I mean, your sister, you know what I mean, you would have tried to make this, all right, with the exception that she committed adultery or fornication. You would have tried to make that relationship work without on separate. You understand? For the mother now, if you had the brotherhood and the sisterhood towards your brother, which is the husband of your son, or the husband of your husband, Slakia, see? You wouldn't just readily just get up and leave the relationship, putting your children in danger. You understand? If you love your brother as you love yourself. You know what I mean? So them thing are them last statutes and commandments, you know. Them ordinances, you know. You see? It cover a wide spectrum of our life, you know. You see me? And if we adhere to them, then we can't go wrong as a people. And the only place where you can learn these laws, statutes, and commandments is in the I.S.U.P.K and the Command in General Yahanna. If you come to the I.S.U.P.K, we will ensure that the next man you deal with, providing you don't already have a man, is the last man you ever deal with, because that man will be your husband for your life, for the rest of your life. You understand? And you won't get a man that will hate your children because he would, you know what I mean, demonstrate this brotherhood. He wouldn't look at your kids as, you know what I mean, as if they are enemies. You wouldn't deal with your youth them like, oh, a lion deal with the cub of another lion. But he would deal with them like brothers. You get what I say? So that we just want our people them to know. That's why we implore them to come to the I.S.U.P.K, man. We teach you how to keep, you know what I mean, these things from happening. How to keep on the marriages together, which is, this is marriage regardless if a ring was involved or not. Don't make the Christian church fool, you know, sex is marriage. And that is the main underlying factor that keep these things happening. So we need to come out of the Christian mindset, which is destroying us. You get what I say? Yeah, man. So, again, you know what I mean, where the I.S.U.P.K and the Command in General Yahanna started 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. You understand? Remember to like this video. You know what I mean? Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell. You understand? Pay on the tithes. There it is on the screen, the information right there. Pay on the tithes. You understand? Don't give no money to the, you know what I mean, to the Christian pastor, which is not, which are not teaching you what is really in the Bible. You understand? But give your tithes money to the real prophets of the Most High in the I.S.U.P.K and the Command in General Yahanna. You understand? If you don't want to know more, go to ISUPK.com. You understand? Look on social media. Follow any I.S.U.P.K member right now. I want to see what we do with phone tithes money. I want to see where Command in General Yahanna and the men, you know what I mean, below him, you know what I mean, or they send a truckload of goods to the refugee, the Asian refugees and the Mexican border, feeding our people, feeding the large people. You understand? That is what we do with the tithes money. We don't buy Benz and Beamer and all them things there. And you know what I mean? We don't buy luxury cars and houses with the money. We use the same money we want to give to the I.S.U.P.K to feed the Most High's people. You understand? That's why we need to give tithes not to the Christian church, but to the real prophets of the Most High. You understand? And with that, I say shalom.